Good evening and welcome back to another round of the House of Esports F1 League. This is season 4 and we are going to be racing around the wonderful uh, Imola circuit this evening. The circuit, of course, named after the founding members of the Ferrari car company, Enzo and Dino Ferrari. So we will be racing around the Imola circuit very shortly, just waiting for everyone to load in. The session will start in 0 seconds on my screen, so it shouldn't be too long before we get going. And yeah, this is round 3 of season 4. We've just introduced a T2 system for qualifying into the tier 1 races, so if you haven't seen that yet, we are racing on Mondays as well. These races will not be streamed. It's a place for people to try and race against basically race for a seat in the Tuesday races. What we found last week was there were a lot of people who registered to wanted to race in the races, and so we've tried to figure out a way that we could keep the lobby full. And as you can see, we've got 17 people who have managed to join in. Just wanted a way to keep the lobby as full as possible, while still maintaining the racing standards that we feel like are absolutely required. That is what we've done. Last night's race has seen a couple people switched around, but for the most part, you're going to be seeing quite a few of the same names that you are used to. So without further ado, we have cars heading out, and so we'll switch across to the live scenes as soon as it loads. There we go. I'm not entirely sure why there was such a long black screen there. Uh, Also, interestingly, for some reason, my moderator panel isn't showing that I'm actually streaming, but I'm streaming there, and it's telling me I'm live. It's just not showing me the stream. So I'm just trying to fix that quickly, and then we will get underway. There we go. Okay, right. Now that we can see everything, Demo first out on track in the Alfa Romeo. This track, obviously, home to the Ferrari team. So I think it's home to the Ferrari. No, it's home to the Alpha Tauris, if I remember correctly, actually. So a little bit of a mistake there. So I do believe the Alpha Tauris do have their home base very close to here. Ferrari, obviously, with Monza being sort of their home ground. So it's very interesting track, as you can see. Very historic track. A lot has happened here. A lot of tragedy has happened here. Obviously, 2 deaths in a single race weekend in 1994, that infamous season. If you don't know the history of the track, it's definitely worth going to look into. But for now, we're going to see this Alfa Romeo head out. We'll actually look at running a board for this first lap, and let's go see how he does. Well, that ended quite quickly. I actually want to see who that was. It was a McLaren. I think that might have been Keycracker. So unfortunate there for Keycracker, unfortunate there for Demo. A little bit of miscommunication. Keycracker not knowing exactly where he needed to be. Obviously, you need to be on the inside of the track for that first half of that pit, on the outside of the track for the second half. And it did look like Demo was going out to the outside, so I think Keycracker was just trying to hop across to get out of the way there, and just miscommunication as far as the closing speed was concerned. So really unfortunate there for Demo. Lost a lap, of course. Saska looked like he had a little bit of a problem coming into the Rivazza double left-hander. Looked like he spun just before it, or may have been trying to get out of the way. He was going very slowly in the Alpine, which obviously we're quite used to seeing the Alpines go quite slowly, but normally it's because they've blown themselves up. Obviously, the Jeddah, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix has just happened this last weekend. A very interesting track there. Not so much an interesting race. Obviously, you had a whole bunch of strategic decisions going on that could have changed a whole bunch of things. Lance Stroll's massive smash into the wall, and yeah, unfortunate, and of course the meme of can you bring the car back, Lance? And the Lance is in the wall. So that was quite funny to watch, and some interesting stuff going on in the Formula 2 and F1 Academy Worlds as well. Formula 2. Ollie Behrman being pulled up into Formula One for the weekend due to Carlos Sainz's appendicitis. And then the Formula Academy winner in the second race. Oh, this is interesting. So Sasko, I think, is on a lap. Yes, he is on a lap. And he is being raced by one of the Red Bulls. Is that? No, that would be Azure then. Azure, they're 17th, trying to get through, and Sasko on a lap as well. And of course, as we have seen the pace from Azure, so catching up to Sasko quite quickly, quite easily. Will have had a compromised lap, and that would, well, it has now put him behind Corsair. So 1.4 tenths behind Corsair at the moment. Corsair in the Haas first on the has provisional pole position. Ooh, massive fanatic spike there, and that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because if the person lags too much, we do need to ask them to leave the lobby. Ooh, and there it is, lag again. So Corsair needs to be careful. It does look like his connection might be a little bit dodgy, and that can lead to a suspension. So he does need to make sure that his connection is correct, or is working correctly. Otherwise he might get suspended for a couple of races until he can prove that his connection can support a whole race. Out in the meantime, so Corsair in provisional pole position. Keiko Marcus taking second place in the McLaren, just 900ths of a second back. Azure in third after that compromised lap. Worm Puzzle in the pits. Marsh actually going up into fourth in the Alpine. Worm Puzzle fifth. Project joining us for this race as a sub in sixth position at the moment. Italian Legend seventh. Gokes in eighth. Gottlieb in ninth. And apparently I've managed a streak of watching, which is good to see, considering I'm supposed to be at all of them. Old New, welcome to the chat. Good to see you again. It's been a while. Venom currently sitting at, has unfortunately invalidated his lap. Does he have... Okay, so he's got the ERS to go again, so he has recharged his car. Oof, that is... This is that unfortunate spot, or another of the unfortunate spots on the circuit, where there's a left-right, or right-left in that case, and so you can very easily get caught there with nowhere to really go to get out of the way. So Venom, is he starting a lap? He is indeed. So goes across the DRS activation line, down the pit straight-ish, and towards turn number one. Turn number one, the Variante Tamburello. So this left, right, and then left at the end of it is all Variante Tamburello. It's turns 3, 4, and 5, then up into Variante Villeneuve, basically the Villeneuve chicane, through into Tosa, the hairpin at the end that brings us back on ourselves, up into Peritella, which is the fast left-hander at the top of the hill, turn 9. So I will be referring to the turns as their actual names. So this is Peritella, this fast left-hander. It's sort of a double corner that you have to take as one. Peritella is just turn 9 at the very top of the hill. And then Aqua Minerale, this very awkward little... I'd call it a chicane, but it's just a kink, an evil kink. Then down into Variante Alta, which is this last little chicane where Yuki Tsunoda went very hard into the wall backwards in his first season. Now down towards the Rivazza double left-hander. And yeah, so good lap, or looks like a decent lap here by Venom. Looking at the times, he hasn't done anything too spectacular, but I don't think he's going to be at the back of the line. Crosses the line up into 8th position, a second off the time, but that obviously with that invalidation on the lap before, so I wonder if his tyres weren't necessarily in the best of positions. Azure's next lap we will watch on board with the Halo HUD so that we can see the telemetry that he is running. Oh, notice that my camera isn't on. Apologies for that. So yeah, Tenvo, welcome, thank you. Good to see you in the chat. And yeah, Old New, absolutely. Has been way too long, but good to see you back. Good to have you back, and I hope you'll be joining us going forward. Obviously, the more people in the chat interacting with myself, interacting with each other, that is good for all of us. It helps us run this channel and gives me things to talk about. Wet race, oh really? Let's go have a look. So we have, it is indeed, that's going to be cool. So anyway, back to Azure. Hello, there you go. You can see the throttle on the right-hand side. A couple of people coming out of the pits there, which is a little bit unfortunate. Don't actually need that. So hectically fast through here, and I'm looking off that side because that's where the telemetry is. It isn't actually on my screen itself. And you can see how quickly he takes the Villeneuve chicane. Now down into Tosa, massive braking zone, doesn't get too slow, 110 k's an hour through there. Gets on the throttle nice and early. This looks incredibly quick. And through Tosa, Piratella, sorry, and now down into Aquamarale, you see he'll probably lift off. He doesn't lift off until he brakes. That is crazy to me. I cannot take that at the same rate that he does. Very stable setup, it does look like. And a little bit of a twitch there going through Alta, but I'm not entirely surprised there. Another of those spots where it's difficult to get out of the way because of this weird little left-right thing here. It's very difficult to get out of the way. Now down into Lavazza, double left-hander, right out onto the edge of the curve there, and then now across the line. Let's see what he does, and Azure goes to the top of the times, 7.5 tenths of a second faster than Humid in second. So absolutely massive lap there by Azure in the Red Bull. Humid currently second in the other Red Bull. Corsair relegated down into third place. KQ Marcus that are currently in fourth on an outlap. Marsh I think is on a lap, so we'll follow him around for the rest of this lap as he goes down towards the Villeneuve chicane. So through there you could see from the so, there we go. Okay, cool. You could see from the way that... Apologies that didn't come through. I can see why. I am fixing it now. And the rest of the sound alerts should happen. Sorry for that. I wonder if I can... I don't think I can do it from here, but Tenva, I will try and refund you that when I can, but you should be able to use the others. But yeah, Marsh looks like he is going slowly through here, so I think he may have given up on his lap.
What the are you guys saying? Unbelievable, mate. I don't get it. What the is this about?
So essentially what had happened was my OBS very regularly drops the settings for which output devices are which audio channel. And so, yeah, the sound alerts are on a very specific audio channel, and if that audio channel is not loaded into OBS, then it doesn't play the audio alerts. I don't know why it does it. I never unplug my headphones, and my headphones are the sound channel that it keeps losing. So, yeah, who knows. Anyway, Marsh goes up into second place with that lap, which I thought was slow. So it shows how much I know. Corsair starting his lap currently in fourth. I think KK Marcus Static is coming to the end of his lap, so we won't watch just the last couple of corners there. That's not going to give us much information. KK Marcus Static has gone faster in the first and second sectors by about a tenth each. So that should put him above Humid if he is on track through those final couple of corners. Crosses the line. KK Marcus Static into third, exactly where I expected him to end up. Corsair now going through Tosa, his first sector, also a tenth up on his previous one. So the track coming in, the track rubbering in, no longer as green as it was at the beginning of the sector. And the reason the guys are going to be pushing a little bit harder, they don't need to worry about these soft tires, with the weather being what it is. So let's get the weather up again. That giant weather panel on the right hand side. So air temperature now 24 degrees, 32 degrees track temperature. They're clear for the next 10 minutes, which is obviously the quali session as Corsair goes very wide there and loses his lap. Venom I think is on he is poodling around. Demo I think is on a fast lap. Let's go have a look. Yes, he is burning his ERS. So back to the weather. You can see that storm, 15, 30 and 60 minutes. That'll probably be the entirety of the race itself. So yeah, we are unlikely to see these soft tires again. So everyone can set as many laps as they can with fresh tires all the way through. They do not need to worry about these soft tires. The allocation will be ignored in the race itself unless there is some sort of dry section at the end, which is unlikely with that 60 minutes of storm. We will check at the beginning of the race just to see if we have a twist later on, and they might need to go onto the intermediate tires, but I highly doubt it with the fact that it's actually showing storm. So yeah, it's going to be very wet for the beginning of this race. Fight for P2 will be epic. Yes, I do believe so. In fact, yeah, all the way obviously 2 to 5. I think there'd be a fight there. 6 through to 10. I do feel like there's going to be more going on there. And the other thing we don't know, and this is something that we can't really ignore, as I think is Sasko on a lap? No, he is getting out of the way there. Something that we shouldn't ignore is the fact that, there we go, Gottlieb looks like he's on his out lap. Keycracker actually is halfway around the lap as well. We'll watch him for his lap. I don't think he's said anything representative yet. Yeah, but something that we must keep in mind is that obviously a lot of these guys will have dry race setups. But a lot of people don't bother. Ooh, Keycracker getting in the way a little bit of that Haas. And which Haas is that? Is that Corsair? No, it is not Corsair. It is Venom. So where is Venom on the grid? He's 8 at the moment. That's not too much of a problem. He was on an in-lap anyway. So Keycracker starting his lap. But if, yeah, thank you, Demo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you there. Microstatic as is IRL. Yes, I would have liked some better fighting for P2 in the last couple of races, but I think everyone will come closer together as the season goes on, and Perez slowly loses his drive to try and match Max, which he seems to do by about the 4th or 5th race, depending on how well Max is doing. And with the start of the year that Max has had, I don't think it's going to take that long. No offense to Sergio Perez, he is a good driver. He's one of the 20 best drivers in the world, according to what Formula One markets itself as. My webcam is just not sitting right. There we go. Is that better? That's better. But yeah, Sergio Perez obviously in second place purely because of the fact that he is in that ridiculous Red Bull. Yes, where was I? Yes, Demo, very well, doing very well. Mystic, thank you. I will send you an invite very quickly. We did know that you were arriving late. You've got like 2 minutes to get in, so please make sure you are online. It's 2 minutes literally before, so yeah, 2 minutes until the end of the session. You need to get in before then, otherwise the game will not allow you to choose a car. 1 minute 20 seconds, is that what I saw? 1 minute 48. Because yellow flags apparently mean I can't see the time. So Wormpuzzle starting a lap. We've seen him be quick in the past, so we'll see how he does. A couple of people on outlaps. In fact, KK Marcostatic is coming through there. No, but we'll stick along with Wormpuzzle at the moment. Turning everything on. Cool. Speaking of, let me just check something earlier. It looks like everyone is fine other than... Oh, right, that's why that's showing. Okay, so Gokes has retired. I do believe that is that on track? No, it looks like it was in the pit lane, so that's not going to be a problem. Let's go have a look and see if Mystic is online. Not yet. Okay, so Wormpuzzle coming to the end of his lap, unfortunately, with an invalidation. So let's go have a look and see how KK Microstatic is doing. He is up in the first sector by 1.5 tenths almost. So he is doing a crazy lap at the moment. Another 10.5 in the second sector. So this is looking really good for KK Microstatic. Let's see what he can do. That's 3 tenths up. If he manages to make the same amount in the last sector, he should be able to hop above Marsh. Azure in first place. Second is Marsh. And that is the end of the session. Let's go have a look and see if Mystic does get in. KK Microstatic goes through and he is still in second place. Mystic Muchwind unfortunately not making it in time, and that is really unfortunate for him. We did know that he was going to arrive late, but just not quite showing up. Yeah, it says signing in. Unfortunately, until the point where you're fully signed in, we can't send you an invite, and if we try and invite you now, it will break the Oh, okay, that's very strange. What did the game just do? um, so Azure retired. Where did he? The game. This game. Middle sector chicane. Are you talking about Aqua Minerale? Yeah, that would be Aqua Minerale. Yeah, that chicane is horrible. We did see it had a little bit of a moment there, but you still did well in the middle sector. I mean, you were up a tenth and a half on your middle sector. Mystic, unfortunately, the end of quali has already happened 1.5 minutes ago. So unfortunately, we cannot send you an invite now. Otherwise, it will break the lobby. So yeah, really unfortunate there, just a little bit too late. So Humid actually at the death of the session, getting the fastest lap of the session, going up into pole position. Obviously, a lot of this means very little. It depends on what setups the people are running. If they are running a dry setup with a very low ride height, they will be aquaplaning all over the place, and it's just going to lead to issues. So Humid out in front, Azure in second, Marsh in third, Cake, Marcus Static, and then Corsair in the top 5. Venom, Project, Worm Puzzle, Demo, and Gokes the top 10. Italian Legend, Warak, SKO, Jumping Jack, and Key Cracker the top 15. Gottlieb, Elf, the last two runners to make up 17. Just taking screenshots. And race director, because I'm sure we're going to hear about this. But yeah, really weird at the end. Okay, so someone got a penalty for crossing the pit exit white line, so that's really unfortunate. But yeah, that collision with Azure, Marsh and Venom both getting collisions with Azure and getting grid penalties as a result. A little bit weird there, but yeah, one of those things. Well done to the game. We have seen people be given penalties for literally the AI driving into each other, so I'm not saying that those guys don't know what they're doing. I believe this is probably another of those those glitches. Yeah, Marsh and Venom both getting penalties for apparently colliding with Corsair after I know for a fact he had retired. So we'll have to see what exactly that was about. But unfortunately, no way to remove those penalties. So really unfortunate for those guys. Alrighty, so at the start of the race, 5 red lights are up and they go out, and we have a little bit of desync before the start of the lobby. That is pretty normal. Bad start by one of the Ferraris there. Great start by the Alpine behind it. Humid has managed to hold on to the position. Azure in second. Hasn't managed to make his way past yet. KQ Microstatic right behind. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Oh my word, that is absolute chaos there. Azure, a little bit of contact there with the rear of Humid. Humid going around, a couple of other people in the background having a little bit of problem there. That was Venom with a little bit of spin, taking someone with him. The ghosting just not happening quickly enough. And so Azure out in front, Corsair in second, Project in third, Demo in fourth, Jumping Jack fifth. Then we have Italian Legend, Marsh, Jumping Jack, and Official Demo fighting it out into Tosa. Have they both got through all right? They have indeed. And you can see how slow the guys are having to go with this torrential rain. It is crazy out there. Azure out in front, 3.8 seconds ahead of Corsair already. Corsair 1.7 seconds ahead of Project. Project holding on quite nicely. Italian Legend right on the back of Jumping Jack. And this looks like it is a good battle all the way down. Oh, Marsh going through there, taking advantage. Oh, no, that is massive contact there between Marsh and I do believe that was Italian Legend. Just not breaking hard enough into Aqua Minerale, so Italian Legend taking some damage there. Did he take damage itself? The only person with damage on the grid is Gokes at the moment. Oh, Gottlieb and Keycracker have now got damage as well to their front wings. So a little bit of a mess of a start there. But yeah, absolutely what we expected with this torrential rain. Gokes getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Really unfortunate for him. That is early enough that he is unlikely to be able to get rid of that penalty because he's probably going to serve it at a pit pit stop. Corner cutting for Keycracker, 3-second penalty. This rain is really causing issues. So Marsh and Humid right on top of each other. Humid, in fact, right on the back of Warwick. He goes to the outside of the Tamburello chicane, gets ahead, goes through, and that's going to be a nice easy pass for Humid. Warwick not having confidence on the braking to fight with them. Then Marsh has now, Marsh with a little bit of a spin. As I say, he's pulled up and virtual safety car. So KQ Microstatic might need to give that position. Demo definitely will. But KQ Microstatic does look like he is keeping going, so I don't think he's having to give up that position. Gottlieb, Gokes, and Keycracker into the pits to get rid of those broken wings. When that yeah, no, that would have been really interesting. But yeah, my word, what a crazy start. Old, new, just 3 stars. Not entirely sure what that might be. I don't know. I don't think I've got any sort of censorship on the Twitch, so that might just be 3 stars. So yeah, virtual safety car at the moment. A 0 out in front, drive-through penalty for Gottlieb for speeding under the VSC, so may have just been caught out by the end of that VSC period. Demo currently in the wall with Elf in the Ferrari. The two of them very slowly trying to get going again. Obviously, these wet tires very heavily grooved. Venom has gone off and Eternal Legend has gone through. This rain is so incredibly hectic, and let's go have a look. Okay, so a 0 out in front. We're not entirely surprised there. Light rain towards the end of the race, so we might see the intermediates towards the end of the race. Corsair in second, Project third, Humid fourth, Warrack fifth, KK Marsteg fairly close behind with Marsh right on top of him. Jumping back, Jack 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and we had Keycracker retiring on track. That was going through Peritella, the fast left-hander at the top of the hill, obviously just putting a little bit too much power through that left-hander for the wet, and we have our first safety car on lap 3. So it took a little bit longer than I expected. No offense to the drivers, but this wet is ridiculous. So it took a little bit longer than I expected, but we do have our first safety car on lap 3. And yeah, this is obviously going to help. The storm is backing down. Light rain for the next 15 minutes and then overcast beyond that. So light rain does generally suggest that that we will be seeing the intermediate tires during that period. So in about 10 minutes, we'll probably see guys starting to go into the intermediate tires if they want to gamble a little bit on the track drying up quickly. Now, that telemetry weather graph thing does sometimes show the track state rather than the weather state, which there is a difference between the two. So track state is how wet the track is, how little grip there is, and that sort of thing, whereas weather state is how hard the rain is falling. So if the track state is actually going to be light rain in 10 minutes, we should see intermediates pretty quickly. No one going in for it just yet. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, we are on lap 2, so let's get rid of that and bring this up. Does it work? It does indeed. So there we go. And you can see everyone does have their telemetry correct, which is always good to see. So everyone's still on the wet tires at the moment. Sasko getting a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. It is incredible. Marsh into the pits. Intermediate tires. There we go. Someone is listening. Okay, so Marsh going for those intermediate tires. The reason that is this safety car, I don't know if it actually models rain physics on the safety car itself. So the safety car might be going at the normal speed. If it's not, it will be a lot slower. And you can see there's a dry line forming on the track as the guys go round. Yes, there's a lot of spray still coming off the cars. That is fairly normal. I really want to run an Assetto Corsa stream at some point where we can actually see what the spray looks like off the in Assetto Corsa, because the spray on this looks very manufactured, let's say. And I know Assetto Corsa, the CSP it looks really good. So at some point I will run an Assetto Corsa stream. maybe of just an AI race. It would be interesting to see the AI dealing with something like this. Obviously, some of the AI don't necessarily know about wet lines and everything, so it will probably be very similar to this. But yeah, you can see a dry line starting to form on the track. There's still puddles all over the place, so wet tires are still necessary at the moment, but the puddles very quickly disappear. And then the intermediate tires will come into their own. So Marsh on the intermediate tires is currently sitting in 10th position. So he has a pretty good chance of making this work for him, especially if the safety car is going slower than usual. And with the, let's go have a look at the weather again. There we go. So you can see light rain 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, I reckon this track is probably good. It doesn't look like it. The rain does look like it's pouring down still. So there's a good chance that is actually the weather state rather than the track state. But this track does look like the dry line is forming very quickly. You can see where the dry line is. There are no puddles. There was a puddle there cut in half somehow. So yeah, EA, well done. I did not. It's in dynamic weather, so EA decided to put you in rain. But yeah, oh, you can see. Oh my word, EA! I just saw tire tracks over a puddle. That's fun. Okay, so as you're leading us under the safety car, there's quite a few people still quite far back. In fact, I see someone. Is that Gottlieb? No, it's not Gottlieb. Sasko, maybe? Yeah, Sasko, struggling even behind the safety car, obviously trying to catch up. Yeah, we haven't had a wet race for a while. So yeah, we haven't been streaming T2 races, so they can't get all the wet races. But yeah, okay, so the safety car will probably stay out one more lap unless I'm very much mistaken. With the current laps, let's have a look. Last lap 140 looks like the time that it took. So 1 minute and 40 seconds. So another lap. Obviously another 1 minute and 40 seconds if the safety car... Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. If the safety car stays out, which means by that point, I think we will be into the light rain portion, so we'll see whether more people go in for those intermediate tires. So Marsh, obviously, 1 lap old intermediate tires, hasn't burnt them up, so he's been careful on those inters. Obviously, they are a little... No, they actually don't look too cold either, so he's doing well with those intermediate tires. And if everyone does need to go in to get intermediates at the moment the safety car comes in, he will be smiling because he'll climb a whole bunch of places. Demo currently sitting with the fastest lap. Interesting thing there. So obviously has managed to put in a decent run somewhere in this deluge. But yeah, luckily this is not quite monsoon levels. I remember a while ago we raced around Silverstone and it was crazy how hard the rain was, but yeah, not that way today. We can still see the cars through the rain. You can see a little bit of a kerfuffle there around Project. Not entirely sure what happened. Maybe just people slamming on brakes a little harder than everyone expected. But yeah, everyone's staying line astern, which isn't necessarily the best thing. I generally tend to recommend that people sort of stagger. So for example, with Azure on the left hand side now, Corsair making sure he's on the right hand side and sort of sticking to one side of the track so that you don't end up crashing into each other. But yeah, safety car will probably be in this lap. We'll find out as soon as it crosses the Sector 3 timing line, which is right now. Oh, okay, no. Not telling us yet. The other place... There we go. Okay. The other place that it sometimes does it is at the DRS detection zone. But today it's giving the guys a decent amount of time to try and figure out... Ooh, that is Warak having a little bit of moment coming out of Variante Alta as he tries to get ready for the restart. So we'll actually go on board with Humid. I think these guys are going to fly away. And the game's just not giving us good angles, keeping an eye on the telemetry, and Azure is just coasting. He's not braking, he's not accelerating. Oh, he's leaving it late. He's waiting. Oh, Corsair going into the pits and once again jumping ahead of the guys on under the safety guard. I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. He did wait for the for that just until about the right moment. But this has allowed KK Marcostatic to challenge for position against Warwick. Is he going to be able to get it stopped in time as they go into the Tamburello chicane? He does indeed leave space nicely for Warwick there and showing that you can get two cars side by side through the variant to Tamburello. Worm Puzzle taking advantage as well. Warwick now down into fourth position. So great racing there by KK Marcostatic and Warwick. Very respectful racing. The two of them going through variant to Tamburello side by side and getting KQ Microstatic getting the position. He is now up behind Humidifier. So at the moment we've got Marsh on the intermediate tires. Corsair, because of that late call to go onto the intermediates, he's in 14th position, so he's going to have to fight his way through there. Gottlieb has gone into the pits. I'll have a look and see what tires he pops on shortly. And we have an Alpine spinning, and I think that is Marsh. Is it Marsh? It is indeed Marsh. So those intermediate tires not quite giving the purchase he needed. Getting ahead of Gokes there with the ghosting, so that should be absolutely fine. And Jumping Jack now dropping down very quickly as well, going through the Varianta. Alta did not make the corner, it looks like. Azure out in front, no problems as usual. Humid in second place, a 1.5 seconds back, and everyone is now peeling into the pits for those intermediate tires. So Marsh is going to be the person to watch now. He is likely to make a whole bunch Azure getting the fastest lap in the pit lane. Marsh coming into the pits. He's got wing damage. That's really unfortunate for him. Going early with those intermediate tires, and unfortunately wing damage making him go into the pits once again. Where is Corsair? Corsair is climbing very quickly, obviously. Did I manage to catch him? I did not. There we go. 5th place because of the fact that he went in that lap earlier. So because everyone was forced to go in for the intermediate tires, basically earlier than they expected, thanks to the safety car. Corsair jumping early, a lap early, even though it was under the safety car and looked like a bad idea at the time, has managed to make it work. And I see a Red Bull that has spun, and that is Humid, unfortunately spinning through Tamburello. So one of the Red Bulls having issues with the intermediate tires. It is very borderline. I think the wet tires are probably going to be fine for another lap or two, and then Corsair is going to start getting quicker and quicker and quicker. We'll see at the end of this lap what people's times look like. Gokes, Warwick currently the leader of the pack with Venom right behind him. Venom looking like he needs to get past that Mercedes as quickly as possible, but we'll see what happens as they come to the pit lane. Do they peel in? They do both indeed peel in. Gokes currently going through, goes in the pit lane as well. Corsair obviously the first of the intermediate runners, so he's not going to peel in, and he has Azure on the back of him. So Corsair, yeah, still looking like it's ice indeed, but I think the problem is that the track has definitely changed. Corsair getting the fastest lap of the race by good, what is that, 7 seconds over Azure's previous time. Obviously Azure's previous time was done in the pits, but yeah, that's 7 seconds quicker than the previous fastest time, so definitely the right time for the intermediates. I think that that dry line has made all the difference. Of course, they're now coming up on a back marker in the form of Gottlieb, I do believe that is. It is indeed in the Williams, but not fast enough. So Azure right on top of him already. KK Marcostatic currently 7 seconds back from here. Worm Puzzle and Warwick busy fighting it out with Project right on top of him as well. Let's actually go have a look, because this looks like it's a very close fight. Warwick in front of Project, and you can see how close they are at the moment, going up into the Paratella. Fast left-hander, do they both make it through? They do indeed. No sliding around there. We'll go have a look and see what happens with Azure and Corsair, but it does look like they have broken a little bit away from each other. 8/10 of the difference, 9/10 of the difference between Azure and Corsair now. So a little bit of a problem there possibly for Corsair. These three, however, no such issues. Going through the variant to Alta. Warwick goes a little bit deep onto in the first part of the chicane. That's going to compromise his exit out of the second. And will rejoin them going down the final straight. Azure fastest lap of the race, taking it away from Corsair very quickly, and now back down to Project Venom and Warwick. Does Warwick manage to hold onto it as they head down the pit straight-ish? Project going a little bit wider than Warwick there. But that's definitely not the wrong idea. Goes to the outside of Tamburella chicane, decides better of it, tucks in back behind Warwick. Warwick getting a little bit of a slide through the middle part of the chicane, and that will compromise his exit, getting down towards Variante Villeneuve. Will Project go for it? He goes to the inside, backs out just about in time as Warwick touches that apex, so very close to contact there. Good call by Project to pull out, and you can see Warwick just not comfortable on the brakes through there. That leads to Venom being alongside Project. Hasn't quite tried to made the most of that moment, and you can see Humid right behind them as well now, has caught up to the back of these guys. So Warwick leading the way, holding up, being the cork in this bottle. They're not going to be able to pass through the Aqua Minerale. Will they try something into Alta? We'll go on board with Azure shortly as he gets a 3-second penalty. No attempt into Alta, but Warwick is going to have pressure all the way down there. It looks like Corsair and Hume and Azure right on top of each other. Azure in the wheel tracks, goes to the outside early, will get the inside of the second part of the chicane. If they manage to get through here side by side, they do indeed. And Azure gets the lead of the race. Now back to these guys. Warwick is definitely corking the bottle. Marsh down in 9th place has joined this. So Warwick in 5th, Project in 6th, Humid in 7th, Venom in 8th, Marsh in 9th. Let's see what they can do. Project goes to the outside. Will he be able to do exactly what Azure did? A lap before, a little bit of contact there, and Warwick has been spun around. That is going to affect Project's run out of here, and will Humid get through? It does look like it, and Humid has got through before the Villeneuve chicane. Who's winning it this year then? Basically, I think it's the same car that's running out front here, so I don't even need to say more than that. We all know who it is. But yeah, so Humid has gotten through on Project in the 6th, Venom still in 7th, Marsh in 8th, and unfortunate for Warwick dropping down into 9th place after that little bit of contact with Project going through the Tamburella chicane. Back marker there, I do believe that is Elf having a bad run of it. Azure out in front, 124.227. Demo getting 3 seconds for track limits. Thank you for the follow, AMG Jake. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a little bit more of a fight. I don't think Perez is going to be as dominant all the way through the year. I hope that Mercedes are going to be showing a little bit more life in them. Ferrari's tyre wear doesn't look as bad as last year. Haas seems to be doing pretty well. That's okay, so we see what the key streak does. It gives people, or the 5 stream streak does, it gives people extra points to use for various things. If you guys have any suggestions for what you'd like to see in the points redemptions and so on, please let me know. There's no bad suggestions. There are just suggestions that we might reject. If we do reject a suggestion, it's nothing personal. It just...
What the f are you guys saying? Unbelievable, mate. I don't get it. What the f is this about?
Behrman really is doing well. Really unfortunate for him in the F2 championship. Obviously, he managed to secure pole position. And then we have seen someone go around. And who was that? That was... I think it may have been a back marker, possibly Sasko. No, not Sasko. Gottlieb is the other possibility. Yes, it was Gottlieb, unfortunately, going around there as well. As you're getting another fastest lap, 124.199 on that particular run. So he is asserting his dominance out the front. 789. Let's go have a look, and yeah, there we go. It doesn't appear to be much of a train. This is... I think it's a train from 6th, so it was where I tried to go through just now. Oji looking Boys are putting in work. Yeah, indeed. It's very difficult out there. We've seen a few people struggling with traction out there. But yeah, Behrman puts it on pole in Formula 2. He's done that a couple of times. He's a very good qualifier and then gets called up to Formula 1. So his Formula 2 season isn't going the best at the moment, but definitely looks like he's got a massive amount of pace. Unfortunate that the first round didn't go well for them. Prema did not manage to figure out the car, obviously the new Formula 2 car this year, and Prema didn't manage to figure it out in Bahrain, but it looks like they did figure it out for Jeddah, and they put Bayman on pole, and Antonelli was started in 5th, somewhere around there, 5th or 8th or something, so Andrea Kimi Antonelli looking pretty good in that Prema as well. But yeah, obviously Behrman been getting called out into Formula 1. Massive debut, points on debut for Ferrari. Great race. Well done to him. I think he managed 4 overtakes, which was the most out of anyone during that Grand Prix. It was shocking how processional it was, but obviously a lot of different strategies coming into play there. I have the EA Play Plus, so I will be getting the new F1 game as soon as it does come out. The telemetry seems a little bit broken. So it's saying that Marsh is 4/10 behind Project. Oh, that is correct. Why did I think Why did I think Project was a back marker? I'm sorry, I've done you a disservice. So yeah, Marsh getting through on Project, and unfortunately that has meant that Venom is now right there as well. The two of them going side by side for a bit had slowed down Project a tiny bit, and so Venom is now having a look at the back of the Ferrari as well, trying to keep up with Marsh. Marsh a little bit of a twitch there on the curb of Peritella, and now let's see, does he twitch again through Akamarale, because a twitch through here can be deadly. Doesn't, but it does look like Venom is catching up to Project. Goes to the outside of Alta, doesn't quite manage to make the move, and now it goes through. So yes, yeah, I will be going across to F124 as soon as it comes out. We'll see how much of a demand there is for an F123 league after that. But honestly, with how big the games are getting at the moment, the fact that it's probably going to be UE4 or UE5 from the rumors, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually have both versions installed. I really don't believe it's going to be a modified version of the Ego engine, because there's no Ego branding anywhere that anyone's been able to find. Yeah, everyone believes it's likely to be one of the Unreal engines. I really hope it's not, to be honest. I would very much prefer if there is another engine that they come out with instead. The reason being, so if you look at the cars heading through the corners, let's see if we can see it here. There's a little bit of movement with the cars. The cars look like they're attached to the ground. They look like they're reacting to the floor as they're going through. It does look very smooth. Obviously, it is a Formula 1 car, but when they go over the curves, you can see them bouncing a little bit and that sort of thing. Apparently, with Unreal Engine 4, it is, or Unreal Engine games, racing games in general, it is very difficult to get that sort of like connection to the ground right. Gottlieb has retired from the session, so unfortunate there for him. But yeah, apparently it is very difficult to get that sort of connection to the ground right in an Unreal Engine game. So a lot of the Unreal Engine games, like the cars will go over the curbs, but they won't really react to them in any way. They'll just sort of glide over the curbs. Alf retired from the session. Is that... It's a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that may have been in the pit lane. Yeah, nope. That is exactly it. The physics, it's just not built for car physics in general. It would be a pretty small league. I don't know about how many fans we've got. But, you know, so make a league with your fans. Well, you know, these guys are, or like a lot of these guys are actually previously guys who've watched the stream. So they watched the stream, got into the game, managed to figure it out. And I mean, these guys are up here. We do have our tier 2 league, which is obviously for people who are newer to the game. So yeah, like, I mean, the league is open to everyone. You just have to prove that you can drive, and if you do need to go into the tier 2, tier 2 is available, as we see Venom getting through on project making a little bit of a mistake through Varianta Alta and being punished for it at the moment that he does. So tire wear, something that I haven't actually spoken about just yet, is looking quite interesting. A couple of guys out there with a slightly higher tire wear. I'm not going to give away who they are, because obviously they are trying to fight for position. Laps 17 of 32, 16 laps left to go, so we're just over halfway now. And we did have a couple of people worried that we wouldn't finish in time, but I think we should. So it's 124, so 130, so it's 1.5 times 16 laps left. My maths is terrible, so I'm just going to calculator. 1. We're looking at about 24 minutes remaining, and we are 20 past 9, so we should be done before 10. I know a couple of people do have load shedding at 10 o'clock, so they're hoping that this race will be done before then. But yeah, Azura out in front. We haven't looked at him for a while in that Red Bull. Ooh, massive snap there coming out of the second Ravazza, but manages to gather it back up. Goes across the line. Venom gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. Corsair is in second in the Haas. Looks like he is doing all right on everything. KQ marks that are coming across the line in third. Worm Puzzle somehow managed to miss Worm Puzzle. Sorry about that in the Alfa Romeo. Worm Puzzle running in fourth, which is actually a lot better than I expected from him. I did expect Humid and Marsh to be out in front, but I think their early issues have allowed Worm Puzzle to get ahead. And yeah, I think Gottlieb may have done exactly the same and backed out as well. Welcome to the chat, Elf. Yeah, no, it does look horrible out there. Obviously, it is drying up, and you can see the rain does appear to have stopped. No, that's not what I'm trying to do every time. So it's now only overcast, so we should have dry tracks in a bit. But yeah, so Worm Puzzle in fourth, doing better than I expected from him. Humid in fifth, Marsh sixth, Venom seventh, Project eighth. Obviously, those guys, Marsh, Venom, and Project having fought earlier with Warak. Warak getting that little bit of a tip into a spin through the variant of Dambarello. Gokes in 10th. Then we have Italian Legend in 11th. Sasko in 12th. Demo in 13th, a little bit of a twitch there through the Ravazzas, and then Jumping Jack running at the back in the Mercedes. There was something that popped up there, I'm not entirely sure what happened. The leaderboard jumped weirdly as I was looking at it, but I didn't catch what was going on there, but yeah, a little bit weird. So, Azura out in front, as usual. Yeah, as I said, we've got a couple of people looking like their tires may be looking a little bit worse for wear than some of the others. I do believe we... Oh, hello. I was going to say I do believe we'll see a couple of pit stops before the end. Are these soft tires? They're medium tires. What is Humid doing? Are these guys all going on to mediums? Surely not. Okay, this is interesting. So let's have a look and see what people go onto. Humid, Venom, and Marsh all onto the medium tires. And this has certainly gotten very, very interesting. Let's see what they do. Warak is in the pits as well. Gogs not going into the pits. He's going through on the intermediates. Alrighty, Humid. Let's actually go on board and have a look and see how his telemetry looks. You're obviously going very carefully around the track. You can see that drying line, but you can see the spray coming off the front right tire. Ooh, a little bit of a snap there going into the Villeneuve chicane. But this is definitely looking like the track is ready for this. Goes through Tosa, doesn't manage to mess about too much tire. You see, with the spray still coming off the tires, this should be undrivable. But the game doesn't understand that. Oh, as Humid gets a 3-second penalty. The game doesn't understand that the spray means that it should be undrivable on the slicks. So Humid going for a gamble that was what looked like a gamble, and I don't think it is. Corsair has now gone into the pits, has gone into the medium tires as well. Azure has gone through, Microstatic has gone through, Worm Puzzle has gone through as well. Project is currently ahead. Is he going to go into the pits? No, he gets through on Corsair as well. So Corsair going for the mediums now as well. Obviously seeing the guys behind, trying to cut them off. I can't remember what the correct term is. But yeah, trying to head them off. There we go. And has managed to get out there, weaving to try and get temperature into his tires. Not entirely sure if that is wise with the wet around the place. But yeah, so medium tires definitely look like they are the way to go. DRS is now enabled, which is the basic confirmation that slicks are now ready. And Azure coming around the final corner. 13 laps left to go. It's a little bit of a long stint for a soft tire, but will we see someone take the gamble? Nope, that's mediums as well. KK Microstatic is very likely to go onto the mediums now as well. So 12 laps left before the end of the race, including the lap that Azure is on at the moment. KK Microstatic manages to get it stopped before the end or start of the pit lane. Worm Puzzle will probably go into, let's see, yes, he has... Has he? There he is. Okay, so he's going in now. So Corsair in the Haas is the first of the previous stop Slick Runners project now goes in as well. Humid still quite far back. Azure has managed to get out quite far ahead. Corsair goes through on KQ Microstatic. KQ Microstatic losing a position because of pitting a lap later. So unfortunate there. But so we now have a better idea of where people are. Humid sets the fastest lap of the race. So 1:22.367, 2 seconds faster than Azure's fastest lap on those intermediate tires. Marsh now sets an even faster one. Azure gets a track limits penalty. We were on board there. That didn't look that far out, unless I very much missed it. But yeah, Azure now getting another penalty. Corsair, no penalties yet. KQ Microstatic, no penalties yet. Worm Puzzle, no penalties yet. Azure, 6 seconds of penalties. It's not going to be a problem with Corsair 11 seconds back. Keiko Microstatic, 7 seconds back from Corsair. That's not going to make a difference because of the fact that Corsair doesn't have penalties. Humid, 11 seconds back from KQ, but he has 3 seconds of penalties, and Worm Puzzle does not have penalties, and is within a second. So if Worm Puzzle can keep up, which we saw he had, a massive snap there coming out of Akaminerale, that's not going to help him, but we did see him have pace earlier on, so will he be able to keep up with Humid out in front, losing time 2/10 from that snap, which is unfortunate for him. Corsair 121.071. So you can see the track is dry. Unfortunately, this is one of those things about this game. The track is either wet, or it's intermediate, or it's dry. And there's no real crossover period. You don't have times where it's like fully dry on the line, as Humid goes fastest with 120.625. Worm Puzzle a little bit off that, and so will be losing some time. He was... oh right, he must have pit on that last lap, so it's showing 143.757 compared to Humid's 120.625, so I was like, that can't be right. But yeah, Worm Puzzle does look like he's catching a little bit, and then as I say that, I'm going to go away from Worm Puzzle because that was a little bit of a commentator's curse, having a little bit of a problem through the Villeneuve chicane, and losing 3 seconds as a result. DRS is enabled, so if anyone is within a second of the guys ahead, they will now start getting DRS, but no one quite that close currently. I do see a Ferrari there. Is that Project Marsh? That is Project, and then I think it is a back marker in the form of Jumping Jack, and then Marsh behind. That's just why we're not seeing anyone that close on the standings. Humid currently with the fastest lap, or was currently with the fastest lap. Azure goes through almost a second faster, so we'll see whether Humid responds in the other Red Bull. Yes, indeed, Caster Curse. It is definitely real. Which is... I was going to say, which is why I'm now sitting on a 0, so that something can happen to stop his lead, and a safety car has come out. A safety... Oh, Marsh. I was about to say a safety car that doesn't seem to have any reason, but Marsh has lost his wing, so the wing is probably on the on the track somewhere, and that's really unfortunate for Marsh. So he's going to come around. It's not that unfortunate for Marsh because obviously the safety car does mean that he can come into the pits without losing too much time. He should put on soft tires. Okay, so I reckon he's going to come into the pits. He's going to put on some soft tires. Nope, he's putting on mediums. So he's putting on mediums and getting his wing replaced. I would have gone for the softs, just because he's coming into the pits anyway, and there are 10 laps left with the safety car out for at least 2 of them. It means 8 laps with the soft tires, as Project gets a penalty for drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Where is Project? Project is currently... He's not even coming to the pits. That's a little bit of a weird one there for Project. So maybe going through Tosa, not realizing exactly how slow the safety car delta is there. Azure, oh, I see some soft tires coming out there. Azure has gone onto the soft tires. Corsair going onto the soft tires. I did see soft tires in his pit box. KK Mark Static will be going onto the softs as well. Yeah, there they are. Humid coming in to get rid of his mediums too. Worm Puzzle staying out there on the mediums, so his mediums are only 2 laps old, so not the worst of ideas. Venom already on the softs after that last lap. Project currently on the mediums. Will we see him go in? It's difficult to track who is doing what because of the various lapped states. Project staying out 2 lap old, 3 lap old medium tires now. 9 laps left to go, so it will be a long-ish stint for the soft tyre runners, but it's not going to be ridiculous. I do note there's a little bit of a weird lag-ish thing on my camera. Not sure how long it's been there, but yeah, it is a little bit weird. I'm just watching myself, and it's odd. Alrighty, so safety car probably up until lap 26, 27, somewhere around there. So we've got 2 laps to kill. Oh yes, I don't think I actually completed my thought earlier with the F1 Academy race this last weekend. But yeah, the F1 Academy race, some massive drama after race number 2, where the checkered flag wasn't actually visible to the driver who finished first, and they ended up with a 20-second penalty because they went around for another lap. Because they didn't see that the checkered flag was out, because it was behind a sign, because the person sort of waving the flag wasn't actually waving it far out of the box enough. Yeah, so the winner of the second race of the Formula 1 Academy race stripped of the win, and unfortunately she ended up like 8 laps down, or in 8th position or something, because it was a 20-second penalty. Wasn't multiple laps. I do. Do you mean the F1 Academy thing? She went through with obviously took the checkered flag, couldn't see it, went around again at full speed, and luckily there was no one on the grid or anything, because they just wait for the cars to come in and only then go out. But yeah, went through the start-finish line at full speed again, not realizing that the race was over, and her team just did. Her team had started celebrating, had taken off all their headphones and everything, hadn't made sure that she actually knew that the race was over. So the entire time through that race, that run around back to the grid, she was asking like, how many laps do I still have left? How many laps am I still supposed to be going? And there was just no response. So she thought the radio was broken, didn't have any way to check it, didn't see the checkered flag because it wasn't waved properly. And when she crossed the line again, they red flagged to basically make it clear that she needed to like stop. And so she went around one more time to get back to the grid. And I mean, you could absolutely. And her engineer came on and was like, "Oh, what are you doing? This and that's the next thing." And she's like, "Well, I asked. None of you told me the race was over." And yeah, so massive drama there. A lot of people saying that no, it should never have been such a big penalty, and this and that's the next thing. To be honest, it's one of those situations. I do believe the stewards were a lot more aggressive with their penalties with the F1 Academy race. How's it, Campbell? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I do believe the stewards were a lot more aggressive with their penalties for the F1 Academy race. We've seen similar incidents in F2 and F3, and not nearly the level of penalties that were handed out throughout the two race weekend for the F1 Academy race. So I do believe the stewards were being a little bit harsh. But at the same time, with that extra lap around, and the possibility that there would have been support staff getting onto the grid, and in fact, there was another vehicle on the racetrack on the second lap after the red flag, which again should never have happened. But yeah, it was massive issues there. But yeah, we'll see. I think the next F1 Academy race is in Miami, if I recall correctly. So a couple of months before they go on to the next race. Okay, safety car is still out. I do believe it's going to come in at the end of this lap. In fact, it's almost definitely going to come in at the end of this lap because we have had the last runner. I think that is Marsh or Sasko. Is that Sasko? No, it is Marsh catching up to the back of the grid. So yeah, everyone down to Marsh on the lead lap. Safety car in this lap as we go through the Variante Alta. So yeah, we'll see how they go. Worm Puzzle. Is that Worm Puzzle? Come on, game. Let me see what's going on. So Worm Puzzle is currently in second. So that's Italian Legend currently sitting in second there on the grid. So he might be a little bit of a cork in the bottle. He needs to make sure that he goes as quickly as possible with Azure because he's going to be holding up Worm Puzzle behind. And you can see Azure going very wide there and has gone there. And that is exactly what I thought he'd do. As the moment he went wide onto that curb there, Italian Legend getting out of the way. Obviously, Worm Puzzle not being allowed to pass until there we go. They are now able to pass that back marker. Worm Puzzle has lost a massive amount of time, 1.2 seconds to Azure out in front because we're having to wait for Italian Legend to get across the line and get out of the way. And he is now massively under attack from the guys behind. Corsair going out, KK Marcostatic in the background defending against Humid as well. Corsair goes into second place, Worm Puzzle in third, KK Marcostatic in fourth, has Humid going around the outside of Tosa. Will these two make it to side by side? They do indeed. KQ is a very respectful racer, so it does leave the space on the outside for Humid to take that position, and now he's going to have to make up that position or possibly follow Humid through. The second Red Bull currently down in fourth place, and I'm sure he's got the pace to challenge the guys out in front. Worm Puzzle and Corsair do need to make some ground up to Azure out in front. We've got a decent race further back with Project, but these two through Variant to Alta, a little bit of a mistake there, it looked like by Worm Puzzle. He's now under pressure by KK Marcostatic, gets through into fourth position, and he now can chase down that Red Bull ahead. Nice late braking into the Ravata and through there onto the start finish straight. We will keep an eye on the guys further back, but these guys do appear to have resolved their little bit of racing. In fact, Worm Puzzle, no, definitely not. Okay, so Project now on the back of Warak. Marsh gets through on Demo in the background. Will Project be able to get through? He does indeed, going before the braking zone of Variante Tamburello, and I think we see something else there as well. There we go. We've got Marsh and Demo fighting as well. So we've got a couple of battles up and down the field. Venom right on the back of, who is that? That is Warak that he's right on the back of as well. So he's going to be wanting to get through there. So much going on, and I really do need to modify my telemetry to show me the gaps a little bit clearer. So the gaps at the moment are tiny on the telemetry above my screen. I need to be able to find a way to actually format it so that it shows me when people are close, when people are within a second, so I know approximately when people are likely to be able to start passing. But that's a fair amount of programming that I'd have to try and figure out to be able to get right. So Zero out in front, running away as before. Corsair in second, Humid in third position, KK Marcostatic in fourth as Corsair gets a penalty. That is his first time penalty, so he now has a 3-second penalty as well. Azure 6 seconds, has less to worry about, has to get 3 seconds ahead of Corsair. Project now going into the pits. Why? Drive-through penalty. Okay, that's really unfortunate for Project. Is it a drive-through penalty? Yes, it is a drive-through penalty. So, Azure out in front, as I said, as usual. Corsair in second, 3-second penalty. He is with Keiko Markstead getting a 3-second penalty there as well. Corsair is within 2.5 seconds. Oh, is 2.5 seconds back from Azure, so he will take that position at the moment. Humid 1.3 seconds back, and that is on track. Keiko Markstead as well with Wormpuzzle right behind him. Wormpuzzle without a penalty, but with a warning, so he needs to be careful not to get too many more warnings for that. 4 laps left to go. So there is still time for things to happen and kick off in various weird and wonderful ways. Official Demo is fighting with Warak as well, and we'll see that not going to Variante Alta. Back up to Wormpuzzle on the back of Cake Marks. Like Wormpuzzle doesn't need to pass, but will want to pass anyway, because he can then try and take off after Humid. In fact, it might not be the worst idea for KQ to let him through. No, he is on the medium tire, so that wouldn't make sense. Demo getting through for a moment on Warak there, going through the Ravata. Yes, the penalties indeed. Wet race and then intermediates and then now soft, so I don't think anyone could really commit to a setup as we see Demo get through on Warak. Nice easy pass down the straight, soft tires on mediums. So yeah, that making all the difference in the world. Wormpuzzle still on the back of Keiko Marstatic. Wormpuzzle with those medium tires. Keiko with the softs, not being able to fire them up properly, not being able to get underway the way that I'm sure he would want. Those soft tires are actually a little bit older, or they're looking a little bit older than everyone else's. Marsh getting a 3-second penalty for track limits again, and that is his first 3-second penalty, so that he now has to worry about, okay, no, he doesn't have to worry about Sasko behind, because Sasko has 6 seconds of penalty. Project has 3 seconds to catch up to Sasko to be able to get through. 3 laps left to go at the moment, and a little bit of a twitch there by Wormpuzzle will put him back from Keiko Mark Static, but as I said, doesn't have to pass him on track to be able to take the win. So 0 out in front, 6 seconds of penalties. Corsair now 3.7 seconds back, so not taking that position as things stand. Humid catching up 1.4 seconds at the moment. He was a 10th faster than Corsair on that last lap, so not quite fast enough. I don't think he's going to be able to catch unless Corsair makes a mistake. Kekamara Static with Wormpuzzle for company as they go into the Tamburello chicane. Gets through the first part of it fine, gets through the third part of it fine, and now down towards the Villeneuve chicane. Wormpuzzle putting pressure on him, trying to force an error. Even though he has made an error already, 3-second penalties. Wormpuzzle doesn't have that second warning, so will likely make it through to the end of the race without getting a 3-second penalty unless the game decides to really kick something off. So he just needs to stay clean, stay within 3 seconds of Keiko Markstatic, and he will take that position, but Keiko Markstatic makes the mistake that we were sure he was going to. With the amount of pressure that Wormpuzzle was putting on there, that was almost inevitable. Demo has left the session. That's weird. I think a couple of people just dropped the connection, and it looked like at exactly the same time, so I'm not entirely sure what happened. There, 0 out in front. Fastest lap of the race, final lap of the race. Corsair in second, Humid in third, Wormpuzzle in fourth. Goat get a penalty for track limits. Keiko Markstatic in fifth. After that, I think his game may have crashed or his connection may have crashed. Venom now chasing down the AI of Keiko Markstatic. Official Demo. No, I don't think that was a rage quit. I do believe that is some sort of connection issue. 2 people dropped out at the same time, but everyone else stayed in, so I believe this is EA shenanigans. Keiko Markstatic has rejoined, still has his position in 5th place, with Venom close behind though, so hopefully he does manage to get back up. Official Demo, and let's see if we can re-invite him quickly. I don't know if he's going to be able to get in before the end of the race because we are so incredibly close to the end of the race. Azure out in front. Currently coming through the Variante Alta for the last time. Oh, Corsair and Humid right on top of each other. Corsair must have made a mistake. I did say that Humid would only catch him if he made a mistake, and it does look like he has done exactly that. Going through the final couple of corners, does Humid go for a late move? Breaks very late, possibly a little bit too late. Had to maximize his exit on the second part of the Ravazza, has not managed to do that, and Corsair goes through in second place, manages to hold onto the position. Humid in third. Worm Puzzle looks like he's coming through in fourth position. Venom has managed to get through on KK Markstatic having that technical issue and then managing to get back in. Unfortunately had lost the position by that point already. Warrak and Marsh, Marsh going a little bit too fast there, and that has allowed Esco and Official Demo to get past him. Marsh is pushing just a little bit too far, Project getting through as well. Marsh dropping down into 11th place. Gokes in 12th. Marsh does take a position from Demo because of the oh, that's going to mess things up. Oh, that's really going to mess things up. Those people leaving at the end of the session is going to make for hell with the telemetry, I do believe. So that's unfortunate. But we'll obviously fix that. Yeah, dramatic indeed. The technical difficulties for a couple of guys, and Marsh with the spin through the Ravazzas, and a couple of other general problems. So, yeah, very dramatic indeed. And we see the guys on the podium, or the people on the podium. Azure out in front. Manages to win rain in the background because the game doesn't know that changing conditions exist. And then obviously the three DNFs at the bottom. Azure out in front, Corsair in second, Humid in third. So close on at the end of the race. Worm Puzzle fourth, Venom fifth. Then KK Markstatic with the technical issue. Warrak, Project, Esco, and Demo, the other person with the technical issue, are top 10. Then we have Gokes, Marsh with that spin on the final corner, Italian Legend, and Jumping Jack. Then we've got Gottlieb, Elf, and Keycracker, our DNFs from earlier on. And as you can see, in very colourful tire tracks there. Incidents, just going to go through these quickly, just so I've got a log of them. So many warnings for track limits, ignoring yellow flags, and so on and so forth. Speeding under the VSC. Oh, that was a lot of drive-throughs there. I didn't see who it was, because obviously we just want to get as many of these logged as possible, because every now and then the game decides to very quickly go on. Where are they? Drive-through. Keycracker, Italian Legend, Jumping Jack, and Gottlieb all hit with drive-throughs there. So we only saw one, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and there we go, all of the pit stops. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure for hosting you guys as usual. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if there's much we can do. I will chat to the other admins and see whether we can maybe take... we can maybe look at taking the results from the lap before last, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that with the telemetry application as it is. So yeah, that's unfortunate there that that technical difficulty hit in the last possible moments. But yeah, really unfortunate there. Demo, was that? I think a lot of things happened in those first couple of corners. I don't think it was just you that had issues there. I think a whole bunch of people had a whole bunch of issues through those first couple of corners and lots of spinning. Yeah, no, absolutely. I do agree that you absolutely should have that. I'll see if there's any way. Obviously, we saw the issue. Both yourself and Demo lost a massive amount of time in those last couple of things, purely because of that very random drop for both of you. So I'll chat to the stewards. We'll see what we can do, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined us. It's been an absolute pleasure to host you as per usual, and we'll see you all next time.